Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a little reading wrap up for what I read in September and August. We had some fun little reading months. Let's just get right into it, starting off with August. The first book I read in August was Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. Julie Soto has quickly become one of my favorite authors. Everything she writes I am just obsessed with, and this was no exception. This was so fun. It is a recreation of Hermione fanfiction, but honestly, she created a whole new world. I obviously knew who the main characters were supposed to be, but everyone else, I didn't really connect to different characters from the original universe, and the whole world she created, the fantasy world she created was really interesting, and this is just dark romantasy, and I ate it up. I loved this so much. 4.5 stars from me. I'm so excited for the next one in the series. I was getting towards the end, I'm oh, this is gonna go on for a while. We're not getting a resolution anytime soon, which is so annoying, but I will be sad when the next one comes out. Next, I read The Wingman. This is, I think, the third in the Vancouver Storm series, which I read the first two, honestly, a bit ago, but I was just in a hockey romance mood, and I wanted to pick back up the series, and this one was a good book, I think, to come back for. It's his best friend's fiance, but was also best friends with the girl, and she breaks up with her fiance and moves to the city that he's living in, and he's obviously a hockey player. And so she wants to get back out there and learn how to date. So he's her dating teacher, and of course it goes from there. And it is just so fun. He's just someone who guesses everything that she needs, and she doesn't always put into words when she needs help, and he just goes out of his way and helps her with everything, and I just eat it up, and he is so obsessed with her, and he's been obsessed with her, and I just love a man who yearns, and he has been yearning for her, and she is just now starting to think of him in a different light too. I enjoyed it a lot, so that was 4 stars for me. Next, I finished the Broken Blade series. So this is the 4th book in the Broken Blade series, An Honored Vow. And overall, I think the series was a lot of fun. I obviously can't talk too much about the 4th book because it spoils everything in the previous books. But I will say it wasn't my favorite. I feel it's hard to wrap up a series, and it's just a lot of building up to a big battle, so I wasn't as interested. I also hadn't read the first 3 in a while, so I forgot a lot of the characters' names, so that was kind of hard for me to remind myself who each character was, because by the end of a fantasy series there's a lot of people, so I felt I spent a lot of time trying to figure out everyone, and then I just wasn't as into the plot in this. But overall, I'd say this is a solid fantasy series, 3.5, 4-star fantasy series. The first one, Broken Blade, follows an assassin for the king who starts to work with this rebel to help halflings out, which she herself is a halfling, but they're all in service to the king. And obviously there's a little romance. I feel as the series went on, I wasn't as entertained because the romance is the most fun, I feel in the first couple of books. I still enjoyed. I feel I'm focusing a lot on the negatives here. I'm not trying to. But it's still a fun series. And yeah, I give this a 3.5 star. Next, I don't have this with me because I gave it to my sister because I need everyone I know to read this book. But Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid was so good. Oh my god. 5-star read for me. I mean, I knew it was going to be good because it's Taylor Jenkins Reid and I enjoy everything she writes. But this was just oh my god, I didn't want to put it down. I didn't want to do anything else but read this book. It was just such a beautiful love story. Such a cool story about space and women in space. It takes place in the 80s too. So it's just I literally felt I was living in the world with all of her friends, with her niece. Her relationship with her niece is so good. This follows a woman who gets accepted into a astronaut program in the 80s, and she is basically training with a bunch of other people for an opportunity to go into space, and it follows her and her relationship with her sister and her niece, as well as her relationship with everyone else in her astronaut class. And then it's going through that timeline, and then at the same time it's showing a disastrous space expedition that she's the main person on Earth talking to the people up in space. So she's helping them troubleshoot this disastrous thing, and then you're seeing how she first started working for NASA, and it was just so good. I was just crying throughout it, feeling all the emotions. And yeah, the romance in it, it's so beautiful. But yeah, 5 stars. Please read. Next, please don't judge the state of this book. I've been trying to read this for like a year. It did unfortunately fall apart on me. But that's because it was my beach read, and it has been sitting in my beach bag for like a year. But I don't know why this took me so long to read, honestly. Like, it's a second chance romance, which I don't read a lot of because it's not my favorite trope. But it's like a cute premise. He's a baseball player, and his wife tells him that she's never, you know, with him, and he freaks out and like moves out, and then he's trying to win her back. And the way that he wins her back is through this like romance book club. So you're reading like little excerpts of this like historical romance that he's reading, and then he's trying to use this to get her back. And so it's like a silly little concept. I enjoyed it. It was a good beach read. I'd say like a 3-star book. I probably would have enjoyed it more if I read it faster. Me like reading this over the course of forever wasn't doing it any favors, but I still enjoyed it. Next, you'll sense a bit of a theme here. I read The Irresistible Urge to Fall in Love with Your Enemy. This is also like traditional publishing of an old Hermione fan fiction. And it follows a healer, and she's working with like a contract killer who is losing his magic, and he like kind of blackmails her into helping him. And so it's the two of them going on this journey to try to find his magic back. And they obviously hate each other. They're from warring, they're not called wizards, I don't know what they're called, but they're from warring groups of people, and they're like can't be seen together, obviously. It's a very slow burn, and it's a slow burn that's done really well. Also the first in a series, so that was really annoying, but I really enjoyed this. It took a little bit for me to get into it. It's like a lot of, like, the world building is there. It really did feel like a whole new world, and there's a lot of new words you're learning. The characters' names are kind of crazy, so it took me a while to like get into it, but once I did, I really enjoyed it, and the slow burn was so good. So this was a 4-star. Next, my second Julie Soto of the month, The Thrashers. Like, she can't miss. This is kind of like a paranormal-esque thriller. It follows this like group of like super popular friends, and they are basically being accused of forcing this girl to commit suicide. And so there's like a little bit of like paranormal ghost aspect to this, because they feel like they're being like terrorized by the ghost of this girl, as well as the police are after them. So it follows the main girl, Jody, and then her relationship with like all the different people in the group, as well as the girl who committed suicide. And it is just so interesting. It was like, I read this in a day. Like, I did not want to put this down. It's such a perfect like YA thriller. I would highly recommend, and perfect for the fall, I feel like. And then my final book in August was Gloves Off. This is the 4th in the Vancouver Storm series. I enjoyed the 3rd, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna read the next one. This one was Enemies to Lovers, Marriage of Convenience. She marries him to get her trust, and I honestly can't remember why he wants to marry her. Oh, citizenship, that's why. They have like a mutual friend group, so they've spent so much time with each other and they hate each other, but it's like their hatred is based on a miscommunication, which does bug me. And also, like, enemies to lovers in contemporary romance just like doesn't hit the same as enemies to lovers in fantasy, because they like actually want to kill each other. Like, this is like, you just like don't understand each other or know who the other person is, so you dislike them greatly. Not as satisfying. But it was still fun. I still liked the tension between them, and they have to move in together, and that's fun. There's like cute aspects of it, but I did not enjoy it as much as the others in the series, I'd say. And it was just too long. Like, I don't know why it was so long. It took me a while to read, honestly. But that being said, it's a hockey romance. I enjoyed it. I give it like a 3.5 star, I'd say. Okay, moving on to September. The first book I read in September was Hello Stranger by Catherine Senner. She just writes like a good, fun, silly rom-com, and I always enjoy them. This one didn't have as much of a silly aspect. It's about this girl who has an accident, and then she gets temporary face blindness, and she's a portrait artist, so she's trying to figure out how to paint the largest portrait of her career when she can't see faces anymore. So it's super interesting. The romance is like kind of like a subplot in this, but it was really cute, and I really liked the guy in this. He's such like an acts of service, and she is such like a hates being helped. Such a good duo, and he's such like a golden retriever. I really enjoyed this, so 4 stars. Next, I read a little novella, Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. Big fan of ML Rio. They did If We Were Villains, which was so good. I think I got this for Christmas. I've just been waiting to read. It's kind of like a spooky fall vibe. I feel like I picked it up at the perfect time. I flew through it. It is like just like a fun thriller that takes place over the course of like 24 hours and follows 5 different people who always meet up to smoke in this graveyard, and they're trying to solve this little mystery together. And yeah, I enjoyed all the characters and their POVs. It moves quickly, and I thought it was a satisfying end. So, fun little novella thriller. I've never read a novella thriller, so I enjoyed, and I'd give like 4 stars. Next, I realized we were ending the summer and I hadn't read an Ellen Hildebrand book, which is illegal. I can't go summer without reading an Ellen Hildebrand book, so I picked up A Summer Affair, which is one of her older ones, I think. It's part of a series that The Perfect Couple is, which is a Netflix show that I watched, so I was like, okay, I want to read the series anyway because I wanted to read that book. I'm like curious to see if it follows like any of the same characters, because the way Ellen Hildebrand does it for a lot of her Nantucket books is she follows like one main character, but then she follows a couple of other sub-characters. So the main character in this is having an affair and hosting this like huge gala in Nantucket, and then it follows like some of her friends and other people in the town, and it's just so fun. She just like writes like the perfect like summer book. There was really no romance in this that I was rooting for, to be honest. Like, I didn't love the affair, but I didn't love her husband either. So I was really in this for the drama, and the drama was there. Like, I just enjoyed reading the tea of all the rich people, so this was really fun. Nothing crazy. I'd give it like a 3.5 star. Not my favorite Ellen book, but still a good summer read, I'd say. Little pool or beach read. Next, I finished another fantasy series. The Nightshade God was the final in the series, and it just came out, and I had to read it because I loved the first 2 books so much. And this was honestly, I'd say, a pretty strong ending to it. I was not expecting what happened at all. It took like a little bit of a twist that I thought was interesting. But yeah, I just love all of the characters in this. And this one, they moved and did more POVs than the previous ones. And we're kind of following all of the different characters as they're separated and then slowly come together, kind of like Throne of Glass-esque towards the end. Yeah, like I feel like I got a lot of the same feelings reading this as I did reading Throne of Glass. So that is why I enjoyed it so much. I like the aspect of all of like the gods and the mythology and everything behind this, and the world building was really cool. I enjoyed this series and I would recommend. This is a 4-star read for me. Next, I read Tessa Bailey's newest book, Picture Perfect. This is a part of her first sports series, which, as you know, I love a little sports romance. So this is about a professional hockey player and a college softball player. They met in a previous book, but this like kind of goes back to when they met and then follows the 2 of them go to her family, does like this annual outdoorsy competition, and so he's her partner in that, and they fake date, and it's just really fun and cute. And she just like very type A, organized planner, wants him to kind of like help her learn to do some of these things so she can impress her brother's best friend, and he is just like total player, hasn't really thought critically in years, and she like kind of like forces him to like rethink and be like, oh wait, like I don't feel fulfilled right in what I'm doing, and I actually do like you and want a relationship with you. So he is pining over her this whole book, and I love it. It is so fun. I definitely liked this more than the previous Dream Girl drama, but I still think the golf one is my fave. This I'd still say is like a 4-star read. Very fun. Okay, 3 left. Next, I read Mistakes We Never Made by Hannah Brown. I watched Hannah Brown's season of The Bachelor, so I have been wanting to read her romance book because I'm like, I love that girl so much. And this was honestly a lot of fun. I wasn't sure what to expect, and I like didn't really read the premise, but it's about this girl who her high school best friend is getting married and she goes missing. So she and her like high school situationship go on like this road trip to try to track down their best friend, Sybil. It's the 2 of them reconnecting, and then it's also flashing back to when they were in high school and all the times they like almost got together. I thought this was really fun and definitely like a good like summer like kind of like road trip vibe. I'm like ready to read the next book in the series. Like she set up the next book pretty well, so I'm really curious to see what comes next, and I give this like a 3.5 star. Next, I read Wild Card by Elsie Silver. I did not know what to expect with this one, honestly, because this is ex-boyfriend's dad is the trope, and I can't say that's a trope I've read before, but I'll eat up anything Elsie Silver writes, and this did not disappoint. This is part of her like billionaire single dad series, which is really good. I really enjoy. And yeah, he's a wildfire firefighter, crazy, and she is a yoga instructor, which I love because I love yoga. I loved reading about her teaching yoga. I thought that was so cool. It follows, they have like a little airport meet cute, and then everything gets kind of crazy from there, but I really enjoyed this. I honestly wasn't expecting to, and I feel like it was the ex-boyfriend's dad trope was done like well, like it wasn't too like cringy or whatever, and honestly I wanted them to get together so bad. I'm like, why is the ex-boyfriend being so annoying? This was honestly really cute and I really enjoyed, so 4 stars. And my final book of September was Real by Kennedy Ryan. This is my first Kennedy Ryan book and it was so good. I've been wanting to read her for a while, and I got this I think for Independent Bookstore Day and wanted to read it before the summer ended, so I'm glad I picked it up. It is about a famous director and like an unknown actress he casts for this biopic that he's doing. And yeah, obviously like it's taboo for them to get together because then it would seem like that's why she got the part. So there's like this tension between the two of them. I thought this was really well written. I like to also learning about the girl Desi Blue that they're doing the biopic on. I need to look her up and see if she's actually real because she had pages of the screenplay in this and I honestly really enjoyed reading that. The movie felt real, and like working on sets before, like she did her research. Like she got all the different people in the crew, she got the way that a set moves, like the shooting on location, the back lots, like this felt honestly like pretty realistic for the filmmaking aspect of it. I loved the 2 characters. I loved their stories separately and together. I was like hooked from like page 10 because it starts off with like the prologue. Her boyfriend cheats on her with her sister and knocks her up. And that's not even like a main plot point of the book, but as soon as I read that, I'm like, oh, this is good. This is juicy. This is gonna be good. And then yeah, it just goes from there. So yeah, very fun romance, 4 stars. I would highly recommend. That is everything I read in August and September. Some fun little books there. I have my little fall TBR behind me. Have started reading a couple of them, but I'm excited to get into some more like thriller, spooky reads. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.